ever been in a situation where your manager denies your accomplishment and micromanages you? We all know, and it's undeniable truth, micromanagement sucks and it's counterproductive. And it affects your and your team's morale, and in the process creates a very dysfunctional place to work. You become the victim of dysfunctional emotional intelligence, and it impacts your mental health, the aftermath of micromanagement. If you're feeling you're alone, I promise you're not. Hello, folks. If you're watching me first time, I'm Devi Sundar, a counselor, psychotherapist, and respiratory physiotherapist specialized in pulmonary rehab. And I'm also a health coach. I'm passionate about empowering people with simple tips and strategies to regulate and manage their lung and mind functions. I have made 34 free educational video resources on mental health and lung health. And today, this video adds to my count. I'm going to talk today about emotional intelligence and leave you with 4 elements of emotional intelligence and 6 tips to improve your emotional intelligence. Let's dive into the video. So stay tuned until the end of this video. We all are trained by our education system to be intelligent, focused on that intelligent quotient. I believe you understand. By which I mean we are trained to memorize, retain information, and logical thinking. And we have been trained to attribute this IQ to our success in life. As work and personal demands rises, we try to keep up by juggling everything better, moving faster, doing more things. And while we might succeed in short term, it comes at a cost of our well-being and relationships and affects our productivity. Emma Sapala, the science director of the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education at Stanford University, explains in a book, The Happiness Trap, that our inability to achieve sustainable fulfillment is tied to common, outdated notions about success. That success depends on our drive, talents, and achievement can happen only with stress. She draws the reader's attention on the latest findings from the fields of cognitive psychology and neuroscience research on happiness, resilience, willpower, compassion, positive stress, creativity, mindfulness, and believes and focuses our attention to focus on our emotional well-being and intelligence to thrive professionally and avoid the concept or the outdated notion belief on our intelligent quotient. As humans, we are emotional creatures, and our decision in our business or love are driven by our emotional experience. As you have probably guessed what I'm going to say, yes, your guess is right. Emotional intelligence is a key to success in your life, especially your career. The ability to manage people and relationship is very important in all leaders. So developing and using your emotional intelligence can be a good way to show that leader inside you. So, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize your emotions, understand what they are telling you, and realize how your emotions affect people around you. It also involves perception of others when you understand how they feel. This allows you to manage relationship more effectively. Emotional arousal is one of the most important research topics in psychology literature. John Mayers, a psychologist, argued that physiological arousal, expressive behaviors, and conscious experience are fundamental elements of emotions. In mid-60s, Paul Ekman, psychologist from University of California, initiated a series of cross-cultural studies of micro-expression of emotion through facial gestures. These studies led to a recognition that there are 7 universally expressed emotions: anger, fear, sadness, disgust, contempt, surprise, and happiness. He discovered that emotions are universal and some emotions are expressed in the same way in every human context. So those 7 universally expressed emotions are expressed in the same way in different human contexts across the cultures. He had also confirmed babies are not blank slate, but they have been already emotionally wired and emotions are biologically driven. It makes sense, isn't it? Babies do cry when they are born, new entry into the world, and the crying is a sign of the good lung function. And babies cry, the expression of emotion, gives some information to the primary caregiver, that is primarily the mother, that baby is expressing the need for food or is baby experiencing some discomfort. So it confirms emotions are driven by biological process. In 1980, Russell J.A., a psychologist, proposed circumflex model of affect. In this model, he proposes that all emotions are product of two independent neurophysiological systems, pleasure, displeasure, or referred to as valence, and degree of arousal. The degree of arousal dimension, which is also called as activation, deactivation, or engagement or disengagement, refers to the perception of physiological activation of the level of affective experience. In other words, affective arousal can be understood as activation of autonomic nervous system, the fight or the flight response. Literature shows that both emotional balance and arousal affect the brain activity and cognitive behaviors, such as decision-making and memory. So, psychologists used affective scale to map emotions into positive and negative according to the intensity of emotional arousal. Emotions such as excitement, elation, ecstasy is classed under the positive high intensity arousal. Emotions such as calm, serene, and content is classed under the positive low intensity emotions. Emotions such as anger, anxious, and scared is classed under negative high intensity emotional arousal. And emotions such as sadness, boredom, and tiredness is classed under negative low-intensity arousal. Many researchers focused on the inquiry whether emotion has cultural differences in the levels of emotional arousal between the West and the East. Westerners value, promote, and experience high arousal emotions such as excitement, elation, and ecstasy more than the low arousal emotions such as calm, serene, and content based on the individualistic culture to influence others and related happiness to high-intensity emotions, whereas the Eastern culture value, promote, and experience low arousal emotion states such as calm, serene, content, and more than the high arousal emotion based on the collectivist culture and related happiness to low-intensity emotion. A study by Tazier and colleagues reported Western compared to Eastern are more prone to higher cardiovascular arousal level during interpersonal tasks due to their conceptions about high arousal emotions, affinity towards, and happiness concept. Siegel-Bursate in 2002 conducted a study named on the ripple effect, the emotional contagion, and its influence on the group behavior. It shows that our emotions can be contagious and shared with others, even if we do not mean to. There is a process innate in human behavior that can cause us to mimic another person's facial expression and is communicated through nonverbal behaviors. And the study also found we can influence each other socially in a positive manner, and this can actually increase the cooperativeness of our people around us. Daniel Goleman, an American psychologist who helped to popularize emotional intelligence in his book titled Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, developed a framework of 5 elements that define emotional intelligence. Are you ready to hear the 5 elements of emotional intelligence? Let's dive in. Self-awareness. People with high emotional intelligence are usually very self-aware. I mean by this is they understand the emotion and they don't let their feelings rule them. They are very confident because they trust their intuition and don't let their emotions get out of control and remain calm under pressure. They're also willing to take an honest look at themselves. They know their strength and weakness and they work on these areas so they can perform better. Many people believe that this self-awareness is the most important part of the emotional intelligence. Self-regulation. This is the ability to control emotions and impulses. People who self-regulate typically don't allow themselves to become too angry or jealous, and they don't make impulsive or careless decisions. They think before they act. Characteristics of self-regulations are thoughtfulness, comfort with change, integrity, and the ability to say no. Motivation. People with high degree of emotional intelligence are usually motivated. They're willing to defer immediate results for long-term success, which means they are ready for delayed gratification compared to immediate gratification. They are highly productive, love a challenge, and are very effective in whatever they do. Empathy. This is the second most important element of emotional intelligence. Empathy is the ability to identify and understand the wants, needs, and viewpoints of those around you. People with empathy are good at recognizing the feelings of others, even when those feelings may not be very obvious. As a result, empathetic people are usually excellent at managing relationships, listening, and relating to others. They avoid stereotyping or judging too quickly, and they live their lives in a very open and honest way. Social skills. We all like that charismatic people. Usually, charismatic people are ones with good social skills. Another sign of high emotional intelligence. Those with strong social skills are typically team players. Rather than focus on their own success first, they help to develop other people and make them shine. They can manage disputes, are excellent communicators, and are masters at building and maintaining relationships. How to improve your emotional intelligence? The good news is emotional intelligence can be learned and developed. As I promised, let's dive into the 6 tips to improve your emotional intelligence. Tip number 1, observe how you react to people. Do you rush to judgment before you know all the facts? Do you stereotype? Look honestly at how you think and interact with other people. Try to practice empathy. Put yourself in their place and be open and accepting to their perspectives and needs. Tip number 2, practice humility. Humility can be a wonderful quality. And it doesn't mean that you are shy or lack confidence. When you practice humility, you say that you know what you did and you can be quite confident about it. Also, give others a chance to shine. Tip number 3, do a self-evaluation. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Are you willing to work on some areas to make yourself a better person? Have the courage to look at yourself honestly so that it can change your life for better. Tip number 4, examine how you react to stressful situations. Do you become upset every time there is a delay or something doesn't happen the way you want it? The ability to stay calm and in control in a difficult situation is a highly valued emotion in the business world and outside. Keep your emotions under control when things go wrong. Tip number 5, take responsibility for your action. If you hurt someone's feeling, apologize directly. Don't ignore what you did or avoid the person. People are usually more willing to forgive and forget if you make an honest attempt to make things right. Tip number 6, examine how your actions will affect others before you could take those actions. If your decision will impact others, put yourself in their place. How will they feel if you do this? What would you want that experience? If you must take some actions, how can you help others deal with that effects? I hope now you understand emotional intelligence is the key to build, maintain, and sustain relationship. When you have a great group of passionate people who can be inspired and motivated and eager to make difference, give them a freedom to work and create an environment that allows them to become a very best version of themselves. I hope this video gave some enlightenment of emotional intelligence. Please do share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel. This means a lot to me. I'm Devi Sundar. See you next time.